Have you ever struggled to come up with a fresh story idea? You are not alone. Stick around because today I'm unlocking the secrets to never running out of story ideas again. The last tip is my favorite. For those of you that are new here, I'm Steph, a lover of all things story who's trying to become a better writer. Coming up with story ideas is really a critical skill because, let's face it, no matter how experienced of a writer you are, sometimes that well of inspiration can dry up. We've all been there, staring at that blank page, waiting for inspiration to hit, and it just doesn't. It doesn't matter whether you're a new writer or an experienced writer, it happens to everyone. Whether it's because of lack of inspiration or the pressure to be original or the overwhelm of having too many ideas, the struggle is real. And it's okay. The good news is that there is a way to kickstart your creativity when you're getting stuck. Personally, I'm a big fan of prompts. So today I'm going to share 3 of my favorite ways to get story prompts that do not use AI. The first tool that I have for you is the Oracle Story Creator Character Deck. So I kickstarted this when it first came out. One, how gorgeous is this box? I feel inspired just by the box. Now, this is a tool that I particularly like for character creation, although I did get an idea for a story trilogy based off of the character that I generated from this. And if you're a fantasy writer, I particularly like that this includes race cards. So if you don't necessarily want to write about human characters, you have that option. Oh my gosh, is this my first Talking Hands video? Why yes, I think it is. Oh no, there's a tit. Hi, teddy bear. No, this is not Teddy. Of course you do that. Alright, so this is the Oracle deck, and you'll see several different colors of cards and this nice little mat that helps you lay it all out. Now, I will say that this tool is definitely best for fantasy writers. It is set up like a tarot deck, but there are several decks that have different colors of backs on them. So you have the black deck, which is, in D&D terms, your class. So this would be like your character's profession. If you want to use them, the gray deck will be races. So this will have different fantasy type races in it. The blue deck is your background. So it kind of lets you get a little bit of information about a character. The red stands for a bond, so a relationship that this character has. The purple deck stands for an event, so some kind of important event in the backstory. And the green cards stand for place, so some kind of significant setting in the story. So let's build a sample character. So the black deck stands for either class or a character trait or personality. So you could potentially draw a personality, or you could draw something like a barbarian. And this is meant to help kind of inform your character's personality and sometimes profession. So let's build a character. I'm gonna start by mixing the class and personality cards. Sorry if you hear chaos, the cats are chasing each other in the hall. All right, so let's see what I draw. Ooh, so my character is an idealist. Behind the mask, there is more than just flesh. Beneath the mask, there is an idea. And ideas are bulletproof. That's from V for Vendetta. So next, let's figure out our character's origin. So where is our character from? So I'm gonna take the green cards. I've already shuffled these, and I'm gonna draw. Okay, so they're on a ship or from a ship. Maybe they're a pirate or a merchant, some kind of pirate merchant idealist. Maybe they do some kind of mission work. I don't know, the choice is yours. Then we need to give our character a background. So the blue deck, again, I've already shuffled these. I'm gonna draw, ooh, and I got an assassin. So an idealist assassin pirate. That's kind of fun. And what I like is when you mix them, like a lot of these are kind of dual-sided. So if you're familiar with tarot, some people think that if it's right side up, you have one meaning, and if it's upside down, you have another. And so they really played with that concept for these. So a lot of the times the reverse will actually be the opposite. So while this is ship, this is Isle, this is Assassin, this is Doctor. So you'd play with whichever one comes up. Although honestly, if you come up with an idea, the whole point of using this is to spark an idea. So if you have a better idea for a doctor, go with the doctor. It's fine. Next, we need to figure out what relationships our character has. So we'll use the red deck, and I'm gonna draw a bond. Oops, I forgot to pull out the blank cards, but there are blank cards, so you could write your own if you wanted to. All right, so we have twins. All right, so there are twins. And then you'll see here, there's like a little who with a gold diamond and a blue diamond. So what that means, gold in this case is what they use for black because the card is black. So you're gonna draw a class card. So I'm gonna draw that. So who are these twins? Oh, they're rebels. They're rebel twins. And then I'm going to pull a background card for the blue diamond. Ooh, they're dragon rebel twins. What that means, I don't know. Again, it's up to you. Is our idealist one of the twins? Are they dragons? Were they destroyed by dragons? Are they rebelling against the dragons? So many different ideas you could run with. All right, let's figure out our second bond. Okay, so there's a brother. And again, we're gonna pull a class card. So the brother is individualistic. Ooh, that's an interesting contrast with the idealist. And then we'll draw a blue card. Ooh, the brother is a magic item owner. Okay, if I were to do this, I would think that my assassin pirate idealist has a twin brother and they were rebelling against the dragon, but the twin brother stole a magic item from the dragon, and maybe there's some conflict going on. So there isn't really a place for race on the mat, so I'm just gonna draw it and put it on top of the character because I realized I forgot to pull the race, but if you want to use race, this is essentially what you would do. So I'm going to flip that. Oh, they're elves. Our hero is an elf. I like that. That's fun. So next we're going to focus a little bit on the backstory with Mark of the Past. So we're going to pull an event card to get us started. All right, so we have slaughter. Ooh, so there was some kind of slaughter that happened in his past, and we see a gold card, a blue card, and a red card. So for the gold card, we have a druid. For the blue card, we have a queen. And for the red card, which is how this character is related to our assassin pirate, son. So maybe our hero had like a secret relationship with a druid queen and they had a son who was slaughtered. That's so sad. Backstories are often tragic. All right, next you have to figure out your impetus, which is what is your character's motivation? So again, I'm pulling the event card, which is seeking redemption. So our character is seeking redemption. Why? For the why, we're just gonna pull a purple card. Training. Okay, so he's seeking redemption regarding something with training. Who was he training? Let's figure it out. He was training a cleric, okay, who is also a timekeeper, okay, so maybe some kind of cleric of a time god. And red card, relationship. A slave. Well, that's kind of dark. Okay, so now with this card, you could potentially draw another character and make this like a whole little hodgepodge. So maybe the slave is actually the cleric slave. Now, as you can see, some of these cards are pretty random, but if they help spark ideas for a story, how I got my trilogy idea is I actually picked a couple of the things and I wrote it all down. And I just started to ponder and started to do some like thinking about the different things. Did the story idea end up being anything like this? No, it did not. But it did get me started. And that's what we're here for. We're here for idea generation. Okay, so I always forget that there is a mobile app for this. So I'm gonna show you that too, which I thought was really cool. This is a great thing if you just kind of want to work on something on the go. I'm gonna pull it up. So you can manage storylines, manage decks, manage characters. So you can either load a character or create a character. Let's create a character. You can do quick generation if you want to. Generate character. Oh, fate has determined my character will be a druid. If you like it, you can save, or you can generate a new character. go back to the main menu. Let's manage storylines. Let's create a storyline. Now, one of the things I didn't mention on the character portion is you can change which cards you're using. Of course, this one only has all cards, so I'm not sure why it's showing the different drop down. But again, you can do step by step or quick generation. For this, let's do step by step. All right, so we've got a trigger, place, reason, finer goal, menace by, help by. Let's reveal a card. Everything will start with a debt. So our main character is debt. A debt. So where will it happen? In the desert? What's the reason for it? Hate. So maybe somebody trapped somebody into a debt. An aid will come from a timekeeper. The threat will come from your mother. And the ultimate goal is bankruptcy. Okay. So let's find out more about the event that will trigger it all. So it has something to do with the daughter. So maybe your main character is the daughter of the mother. There's a dragon involved here, somehow. The mother is a blood hunter. Like I said, you can take some of these things and leave them. The important thing is just to figure out why. Oh, so there was some corruption that caused bankruptcy. All right. Then, so you've got your storyline, then you can save it or go back to the main menu. So that's a little showdown of the app. So this is the basic app. There is also the Dark Myth Depths. It tells me I haven't acquired it yet. I do have the physical deck. I just don't have the e-deck. All right. Yeah, so that's the app. The next tool I'm going to show you is also really great for idea generation. And between you and me, I have used the Oracle deck and this deck to help with D&D. So the next tool that I'm going to share with you today is the Story Engine deck. I, again, kickstarted this. However, you can buy it directly off the website. They not only have the Story Engine, but they also have a world building deck. And they just launched or are about to launch a lore deck. So if you're looking for ideas to help with the backstory of your world building, or if you're looking for setting ideas, or if you're just looking for an idea for a story in general, and aside from just the basic deck that it comes with, there are a ton of expansions based on genre. So if you write in horror, you can pick up their horror deck. Or if you're more into mystery, they've got a mystery deck. I have a tendency to just mix them all together and see what idea comes up. The only complaint that I have about this is because there are so many expansions, all of my decks don't fit in one box. And if you're like me and space is a bit of an issue in your house because you don't have any storage, that can be a problem. Now, I do know that the most recent Kickstarter did have some larger boxes that you could get as an add-on. But part of me thinks that that should have been thought about originally. If space is an incredibly difficult issue for you, they also have a PDF version of all of their decks. So you could just take a look at the deck on the PDF rather than having the physical copies. But the downside to that is I think you'd have a hard time kind of building the story prompts. Okay, so next we have the Story Engine, and I just flipped the Fatum Oracle deck's mat over so I could have a nice clean backdrop for you. Similar to the Fatum deck, there are decks that are multiple different things for your story. So the agent cards represent characters that do things in your story. Engine cards are cards that inform motivations or relationships for your characters. Agents are objects, locations, or events of importance. Conflict cards are obstacles, consequences, or dilemmas. And aspects are adjectives that describe other cards. So unlike Fatum, this one is a little bit freer as far as the way you set it up. There are lots of different ways you can kind of come up with ideas for your story, so I'm going to show you a couple. The first is just a very basic story seed. So first we have to draw an agent. Now, what I really like about the story engine is because each card has 4 options, you can pick the option that's the most intriguing to you. So because I actually have a background in anthropology, I'm going to choose an anthropologist for my character. So next, we need to draw an engine. Okay, so here the engine. Now the engines only have 2 options. So we can do was in love but tragically lost, once survived by taking refuge in or with. I kind of like the once survived by taking refuge in or with. So let's do that one. All right, well then we need an anchor, all right? So a mutiny, an ore, a refinery, an asteroid. Okay, so she once survived by taking refuge in or with an asteroid. We're gonna make this a sci-fi anthropologist. And now we need a conflict. So we have, but their homeland will be put to the torch, but they will bring darkness to those whose paths they cross. All right, what if she got corrupted by something in the asteroid that would bring darkness to those who cross her paths? All right, well then we need to draw an aspect card. So this is an adjective that we can apply to any of these things. So we have forbidden, hungry, quiet, bloodthirsty. I'm going to say a hungry anthropologist. And I'm using hungry not in like the literal sense, but in the I'm thirsty for knowledge sense. And that's what drives her to go to this asteroid where bad things happen. So there you go. You've got an idea for a story. Now, say you have already done some world building. You can do what is known as locking cards, which basically just means, okay, I already know what my setting is going to be, so I'm just going to flip that so I know that I have that, but I need some ideas for characters and that sort of stuff. You can do that. Okay, so that was kind of just your basic story seed. Next, let's do a couple different things. Let's do a character concept. So I'm gonna draw 2 agent cards and pick one as the character. All right. Okay, so I personally am always kind of intrigued by the idea of a telepath. So I'm gonna choose a telepath character. Then you draw 2 motivations cards and pick one. I'm gonna go for this one. This seems to make sense for me for a telepath. Who are they on the run from? So for the next one, you're gonna draw an anchor card and an agent card and pick one. So personally, I don't necessarily think that using an item in this instance will be useful for my story. So I'm gonna go more with the agent option. And I really kind of like this idea of a dreamer. So I'm gonna pick that one. So our telepath has always had to run or hide from a dreamer. So then I'm going to choose a conflict card. Okay, but their nights will start to pass too slowly, but their days will start to pass too quickly. So this could be interesting. I'm seeing like a whole like metaphysical in your brain processing time story going on here. And then this is an optional step, but you can choose an anchor card to put it under one of the characters to give it either a place or an item. We've got a cloak, a glacier, a cavern, and an axe. I'm gonna give my telepath a cloak. Why? I don't know. And then you're supposed to draw 4 aspect cards and put them wherever you want them to. So we've got made from crumbling stone, that compels truth-telling, that nullifies or amplifies magic, that only works in one location. I like the idea of a dreamer that compels truth-telling as kind of like your villain. Then let's pick another one. Crumbling, inevitable, weeping, alabaster. Honestly, I don't really think this one fits, so I'm just gonna throw it out. Okay, this is card number 3. Let's go with an isolated telepath. So they're alone. All right, and the last card. And then I like kind of smart for the dreamer. I see this as very kind of like almost like a David Tennant in, Jessica Jones type villainy thing. So that's how you can kind of create a character concept layout. You can also do an item or setting driven story. So for example, you're gonna draw 2 and place 1 as an item and 1 as a setting. I'm going to say something about a belt and a grove. I always like that. And then you're going to draw 3 engine cards and place 1. And instead of using the term wants to, you're going to use will. So this belt in a grove will do something. Those both seem too people-oriented. Has always carried with them, has not seen since childhood, has always had recurring dreams about, has a lifelong dream of becoming or owning. I'm thinking a lot of these have to do with kind of your main character. I'm gonna say they've always had recurring dreams about this belt in a grove. So then you're gonna draw an anchor card and an agent card and choose one to place as a story element that's affected by the setting. So we have an astrophysicist, a data science, a technician, a navigator, and then a ghost town, a treaty, a betrayal, and a canyon. I like the idea of a ghost town. That could be fun. All right, then you're gonna draw 2 agents and choose one to tuck under any of our anchor cards. So who owned it? We've got a librarian, a witness, an archivist, and an archaeologist. So that's one option. And then second option is a patient 0, a first responder, an arsonist, or a lab assistant. Let's go with a librarian. Actually, no, an archaeologist. They're investigating the ghost town. Okay, then you need a conflict, but they will be haunted by silence, but they will be haunted by whispers. I mean, this seems pretty accurate to our ghost town. And then you're gonna draw 3 aspect cards and tap them with it. So evil, repelling, strange, immoral, feral, okay. Hidden, violent, silver, creepy, abyssal, seaside, toothy, and profane. Okay, so I kind of like the idea of an evil, repelling silver belt in a grove that our main character has always had recurring dreams about. And there's an archaeologist in a ghost town. It's a seaside ghost town. So those are the simple story seeds. The instruction books has a lot of different types of stories that you can do. Just for the sake of time for you guys, I'm not going to do all of them, but that's just kind of a couple ideas. And because there are so many cards, there are really like infinite idea generation that you could get from these cards. But again, take what you like and leave what you don't. Also, I'd love to hear your favorite ways for coming up with ideas for stories, so let me know about that if you want to. If you just want to let me know you're here and don't want to leave a comment, leave me a pen emoji. As promised, this is my favorite tool to get story ideas, and that is the weekly story prompts from Readsy. So you don't have to follow just the weekly prompts if you don't want to. I believe all of their previous prompts are on Readsy, and when you're looking through all of the previously created story prompts, you can actually filter by genre, which is really handy. Although sometimes I appreciate a generic prompt that's not genre specific, because then I can interpret the genre in the way that I choose. And while yes, these prompts are specifically for short stories, I don't think there's any reason why you couldn't take one of these ideas and write a longer novel or even a series from it. So of the 3 tools that I shared with you today, this is also 1, the only one that's free, and 2, the only one where not only is it free, but you could potentially get money from using this tool. And that's because Readsy holds a weekly writing contest. So if you spend a week writing their weekly prompt and submit to it, you have the potential of winning $250 if your story wins that prompt. And then the winning stories get published in a, I think, monthly newsletter, but don't quote me on the cadence of that. But there is a newsletter that the winners get published in. And I think that this is such a great resource for aspiring writers, because how great would your query letter look if you had some of these winning stories? Let's see what stories tomorrow brings.